Hello, welcome to Elseworlds, DC fan podcast. My name is Jordan. With me, as always, is Chris, and we're talking the Penguin, episode 2, Inside Man, which was directed by Craig Zobel, written by Erica L. Johnson, and premiered September 29th, 2024 on Max and HBO. This show has been getting some big ratings. Um, it's got, I believe it was up to 11 or so million for the first episode now. And episode 2 has had 1.6 on Sunday night. We'll see how that grows afterwards. But yeah, so we got Inside Man, which was the second episode here. So let's start with just general thoughts, Chris, on the second episode of The Penguin.
Oh, let's dance. This was a really fun episode. Penguin is so clever and maniacal. Uh, I thought there was some really good stuff with Christine Miliotti's character. I thought that this was an episode in which it was almost a slow burn in the beginning, and once it got going, was really interesting. The Maroney stuff, uh, the bust basically from the Maroney side with Penguin leading the way and the plan not going accordingly, and Penguin figuring out how to make it work to his advantage. It's really good stuff. I thought it was a continuation of what they started in the first episode. I was really happy with it. I mean, I know what I'm getting in this, and I'm hoping to just they keep hitting it out of the park.
Yeah, this was another great episode of the show. Almost a more Sophia focused episode, wasn't it? Like I felt like she felt like the secondary character, the secondary main character of this episode. Because
Hmm.
it kind of started with her. We kind of follow her through so many of these scenes. While last week we were mostly following Penguin exclusively, this time we got a little bit more branching out. But what
I
I'll also say is, sorry, real quick, I just want to say, I just love how this show feels like an actual TV show.
Yeah, it's got a serialized thing. It's building off each other. There's character work that you don't have time for in movies. But I would
Each
hope.
episode has a beginning and an end.
Hmm.
It's not like some shows that try to stretch, like, you know, Disney has a bad reputation for this, even though I disagree with a lot of it. But where people say it feels like a 4-hour movie broken up into, or 8-hour movie. This doesn't feel that way. This feels like we have set beginning and endings of the episode, and each episode accomplishes so far something different.
Yeah, I'd almost argue that Sophia took Victor's size role from the first episode. She was much more the focus, with Alberto's funeral, and it was one of my favorite scenes was when the Penguin, and Sophia were talking uh, above all the ruckus at the funeral. I thought Penguin and her had I don't know what the word for it is. This is a very tantalizing connection where weren't sure if they were enemies or friends or frenemies, or it just they're feeling each other out here. It feels like really interesting stuff.
Yeah, it's. I think one thing that's getting me too is just how clever Penguin has been in this show. Um, which I think he was also in the movie, but like we're getting so much more time with him and seeing how he's able to almost kind of be like a cockroach that they can't quite kill, right? He is able to get last minute things set up in ways like when Victor doesn't pull off what he needs to pull off and he is told that he's able to quickly scramble and he's able to know how it will land. I'm sure everybody thought that that knife was going to be in Johnny Viti's,
Mm-hmm.
right? But no, he knew he probably that would be an overreach. I think at that point he knew he didn't have the backup to sell that, so he had to pivot and he put it on the guard who was guarding the door. That was one of Sophia's men, and it also made her. And this is also a good last minute thing. It makes her at the end of the episode coming to him like play into that because she now lost the one guy she thought she could trust, and Oz is able to step into that spot now and be that man. So I thought his manipulation and his last minute thinking, quick thinking was really great, and the writing for this episode was once again, amazing.
Yeah, what I love about this Oz is this Oz Cobblepot. What I love about this Oz is that he is not premeditated. He is quick on his feet. He is brilliant at the moment. This is not a genius, well thought out plan penguin. This is a guy who can figure out how to get out of anything. Like I have a feeling if you gave him a bunch of headphones that were like old headphones that were all wired up in a knot, he would be able to just on the fly get them loose and be like, "What? Are you kidding me? No, nothing." He can figure his way out of any situation. It's beautiful. Um, I I can see why he's a problem. I like how you called him this little cockroach. He's such an annoying, sly, slimy, sneaky. Just really, really awesome. And the scene with the knife was really interesting because yeah, there was a lot to it. There was a lot of nuance to it, and when you saw how it unfolded, you're just like, this penguin, dude. This penguin, dude. Yeah, he's pretty awesome with that stuff. I also thought there's a lot of, you know, character growth with him in this episode. It just seemed like you're getting a more sense of what he is and what makes him tick. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, he, with the drops and, you know, playing double agent, how comfortable he was just waiting for it to happen. Just, he knew it was going to happen, just played it cool. I mean, this guy would be great at poker.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's even that setup, right, where he knows that he can play the other Falcons off of Sophia when he goes up to Vidi and is like, you know, acting like they know that somebody's in the basement when they don't, and he knows they don't, right? But he's like, ah, the fact you guys wouldn't tell me you're keeping somebody in the basement, what, you don't trust me, type of thing. And then it immediately helps play them off of each other that way.
Hmm.
uh it helps him get that guy alone so that way he can go and try to get him free. But then he has to pivot once Victor says he can't get it, right? So he's like, now I gotta kill this guy or else he is gonna squeal on me, and I'm just gonna have to plant the knife, right? Like,
And he's so cold about it. Like he doesn't even like show remorse. He like just drives the knife in, makes
yeah.
sure he does enough damage. It's like he's so precise to be like, all right, he's still kind of alive. He's still all right. He's gone. Just cold, calculated, didn't care. Wipes off the blade. I was actually a little surprised he wiped off the blade of the towel, then left the towel there. But
Same, but I guess, whatever.
that would have been kind of incriminating though if you think about it. If he had a towel with the
Yeah,
blood on
that's
it.
probably why he couldn't take it. Yeah.
Hmm.
And it's also like, are they're not the police. They're not going to probably be able to run diagnostics on stuff like
Plus,
that.
it would probably
Yeah.
just be the victim's blood on it anyway.
Right,
So
right. Yeah, I don't think he leaves fingerprints on the towel. So,
yeah.
it's yeah, I thought it was maybe a little sloppy for him to leave that behind, but you're right. He wouldn't be able to he would have got caught with that too. He would have had to put that in
Well,
the
yes,
pocket of the guy as well.
they're at the Falcons. It's not like it's a public thing. Like if it was a public thing, that
Right.
would have been an error. But during the episode, you are thinking about it.
Yeah, you're like, "Oh man, is he going to get caught?" Um what about his punishment of Victor here with the when they're burying the bodies, and he makes them lie down with them.
I
Because
thought he was going to kill him. I really did.
really,
I thought he was going to kill him. I think it was brilliant because with this penguin, you really don't know if he's going to do it or not. Like you could see him doing either one, and I thought he scared the bejesus out of Victor, and by doing so, I thought it was actually pretty good because he had almost gotten a little too comfortable. Victor had some stuttering problems here. Um, you know, it, there are some people that think he's going to be Victor Zaz, and it's kind of a Victor Zaz kind of like the stutter. Yeah, I could see that being a character detail that comes back. So we'll see if that's what they're doing. But uh, it was interesting that the stutter started to happen in this episode, really pronounced. But yeah, he kind of showed who's boss again. He said, "Hey Victor, what did I tell you about getting you like a fish?"
I mean, I'd probably be stuttering too if I'm,
No, but
put in the
he was.
positions that he's put in.
Yeah, he's stuttering though, not only when he's in the pit though.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he's in a deeper life now, right?
Hmm.
Like, it feels like his stutter comes out whenever he is like it really. What the first time we really see it is when he gets caught by Oz, right?
Yeah.
And then um, we see it a little bit with in this episode when he's talking to the girl, but I think from the trailers or the previews, it looks like he already has a girlfriend. That's who he was texting, I think, in this episode. So he's a little nervous about that, I think. Um, but yeah, I don't think I never thought Oz was going to kill him. I think he sees so much of him in him, with the disability of the
Mm.
speech impediment with his club foot, and then also, he tells that story about how he rose through the ranks. Right, was because the one driver the one guy saw something into him, made him his driver. Right
Hmm.
now, that guy ended up getting killed because he kind of turned on them. Right, but Carmine was still able to see something in him and move him up. And I think Victor kind of smiles at that, and I think it's because he sees something in Victor as well and made Victor his driver. And now there's this story of maybe Victor being the one that can rise up through these ranks as well and be the right hand man for the Penguin when he takes over Gotham.
The city will be his.
Yes. Um, Well, let's talk about Sophia because I think she's been an interesting character
This
so
woman
far. We talked
scares
about her
me.
last week.
She scares me every time she's on the screen. She just scares me. I
How about she wakes up from the dream and she's like scratched herself in the throat,
Yeah, she's not mentally
leaving marks?
stable. And I thought it was an interesting scene with the therapist, and she sees Alberto, and she's in prison. She sees Alberto get shot right there. It was a very you knew it was one of those things where you immediately knew it was a dream sequence. And she wakes up, and the therapist kind of grabs her and like really is trying to control her breathing. And I was wondering what the red light thing, because I it's been a while since I got my bachelor's in psychology. I was like, is that a thing now? So I don't know much about that. But they had the red flashing light, and she's seeing the red flashing light in the dream. That was a very visceral scene. Like everything with Sophia keeps you a little on edge, I would say.
Yeah. Well, we run into her cousin, right? And they talk about how they used to go to Italy, Lake Como, every summer, and she's trying to like almost connect with Sophia on this level of the past, right? And looking back at what nostalgia for growing up and having those summers in Italy. But as soon as that her daughter comes up to her, she instinctively protects her daughter. We know Sophia's killed women as the hangman, right? That's what they said in this show, is that they were women she was killing. Do we think any of them were as young as this daughter, like for this cousin to instinctively fear Sophia getting her hands on her? Like why, or is it just a normal like my cousin's psycho, I got to make sure my kids next to me type of thing?
Hmm. It was. She definitely had this very visceral reaction of her cousin's reaction, and the no, no, I got it. And the mom's so afraid for her daughter. I think it's very important that the show stands out and tells you that people are having the same visceral reaction to her as the audience. And it reinforces that everything keeps you on edge. But I kind of want to get more into the past with the Hangman killings and I think they talked about her statistics as a killer a little in this one too. I forget the numbers, but yeah, it's really just this tense scene, and I felt bad for her actually. And then I remember she's this crazy mob lady. And then that's the thing. The show really humanizes her and makes her a freak at the same time. It's very interesting.
Yeah. It's I'll be more interested to get more of Sophia's past, right? We know it from like the Long Halloween and Dark Victory, but like they've done some twists on it. You know, she wasn't killing like women as the hangman really in the comics, right? It was
Police
she was
officers.
going after police officers, corrupt officers, right? And this is a little different. So I wonder if we'll get more on that and maybe this will make more sense, or it could just be as simple as, hey, my cousin has killed people and been in prison, I want to protect my kid. Could be as simple as that. But
I mean,
I've just seen theories.
if you got a kid and you have somebody you're near a murderer, I can see that very uncomfortable situation. I would probably handle it differently, just because I wouldn't want to put instill that fear into the child who doesn't know anything. It's that would be my thought. I'm there, I can like push her out of the way if something happens.
Yeah,
There was no reason for alarm at that point. So, um, and I always feel like,
that's what took me by it, I
yeah.
guess, is like she was just having a normal conversation with her, and then the daughter came over and she like instinctively grabbed her. It could be instinct, or it could be like, I know her past, I gotta
Well, and
protect her.
Sophia might have actually been toying with her a little bit. Um, be like, oh, fine, you want to be judgmental like that? I'll play up to it.
Yeah, yeah. She does have a reaction to it, right? Which
Hmm.
is something we'll have to keep an eye on. We have a few times, right, where she's listening to the
And
radio in
she
the
says,
car,
no, keep it
and
on. She wants to hear it.
yeah, because in the on the radio they're saying it's like a morning show type
Hmm.
thing, and they're like, "You believe they're letting all these psychos out of Arkham? They let out the Hangman Killer, you know?"
Let me tell you about Arkham. They let everybody out.
Yeah,
The door is closed. It's
the
not
revolver.
locked.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know. I think she's the most interesting part of the show so far. It is amazing. We're getting two really good performances. Sophia and Oz just being like really well done so far in these two episodes. I still can't see Colin Farrell in
Not at all.
the makeup. I searched, and I'm like, I could not tell. Like, if you didn't tell me it was him, I would not be able to tell that it's him.
So HBO has a companion podcast for the Penguin, and so they do one for each episode. And I knew we were going to talk about episode two, so today I only listened to the first one. Again, I didn't want to listen to the second one, but they were talking. They had Matt Reeves on as a guest, and they were talking about, and the showrunner as well. They were talking about how they wanted to create this penguin. They actually created a sculpture to convince Colin Farrell what it would look like and why you should do it. Because Colin Farrell was like, I don't really know about the weight, because he had weight for another project, and he's like, it's horrible for my health. I cannot do it. and they came up with this concept. And then Colin Farrell got into the makeup. The first time he gets into the makeup, they were saying that he was doing like iPhone video of him as a Cobblepot and or Oz Cub, and they, it was like that's how they sold it to the studio and stuff. That was really interesting stuff, though. So I definitely, and I didn't even finish that podcast, so definitely recommend it.
Yeah, I've heard good things about that episode. People talking about like how they went in depth with the makeup on that podcast.
Hmm.
So I guess
Yeah, it's very insightful, and they had
yeah.
Colin Farrell on. I think after that, so I think they're they kind of talk about the scope of it is the part I heard, and then I think they talk about the actual episode a little bit. So I'll be definitely following that, but I'm going to continue to not listen to that until we've talked about that episode.
Yeah. Um okay, so Oz starts getting in a little bit of trouble here with right, the whole reason he has to pull off this maneuver at the end is because when the episode opens up, he's talking with Sal. And kind of like I said last week, Sal ends up taking credit for it because hey, it looks like a good thing, right? And he's able to play it off like, yeah, I did this. And that's pretty much what Penguin says. Oz is pretty much like, yeah, like, why would you decline this? And you're already wearing the ring. So I already know you're taking credit for it, right? And Sal's like, dang, yeah, like I am wearing this ring already. So, um, he's going to be the inside man. Well, when they run this operation, Oz kind of gets stuck in a point where Johnny Vitti makes sure that Oz is like going with them in like one of the vans, right? And when it gets hit, Oz has to, he does this great move where he gets out of the front passenger seat and gets into position, knowing what's going to happen before anybody else does. And he's still trying to keep his cover, making jokes with them, and then immediately turns on them. And I think one of them gets a chance to say something like you
You double
backstabbing,
crosser.
yeah, double crosser, yeah. And he actually has to take out one of Sal's men as he's escaping to make it look convincing and stuff. But one of their men gets caught and left behind, right? And uh this causes Sal's wife to contact Penguin, and this starts the whole thing like, you have to go get my operative or before he tells them about you. And then uh they're about to actually take out Oz, while Oz has to be like, you know what? I have stuff on Johnny Vitti, right? And this kind of shows that he is valuable, not just because he's an inside man, but because he has this information on Vitti. And we find out now that the lady that Vitti is having sex with in those pictures, right, is the new Falcon's wife
Mm-hmm.
and the new Don of the Falcone family. What are you doing, Johnny Vitti? Do you want to get killed? Like that? That's how you get killed in the mobs in the mob.
Well, and this also sets up Sophia being so angry that Alberto was just going to naturally get it because he was the son, and then he's off the picture, and it's not her. I think it set up. You saw the brother of Carbine. You saw him just kind of downplaying Sophia and telling her, do your job, do your role. It's nothing more. It's my job to decide when and where. And you know, I think that's going to be the most pivotal conflict because she's going after it's hunting season on the Falcons, and now you got a Falcon in on the hunting season.
Yeah, I mean, like that was a stupid move by Johnny Vitti. You're gonna end up dead. I think we see him get knocked off before midway through the season is my guess.
And the saddest part about it is they're all bad people, but I'll have some sort of satisfaction when that happens.
I love Johnny Vitti. Actually, I love the actor who plays him.
He
He
was in
was
House
in
of
House
Cards.
of
Yeah,
Cards. Yeah,
yeah.
filmed at our alma mater, at Towson, where you currently go.
Was that really filmed at Towson?
There is a scene that was filmed in the College of the Liberal Arts building,
Really? You know
because that's
what?
the building I was in every day, and I would always
Yeah.
be like, and I saw it once when I was watching. I was like, "Oh my god, that's the hallway I walked down."
So the psychology building and the education building are like next to each other. Those are the two buildings all of my classes are in. So it's right past that building. But
Michael Kelly is the actor.
yeah, he's a
He was
great
also
actor.
he's also Steve Lombard. That's right, in Man of Steel.
Oh yeah,
So
when
there's a connection there.
yeah, yeah, I still use that reference from Lawrence Fishburne. Breaking news, water wet.
Yeah, yeah. So he's been in other DC projects. There you go. But no, he's a great actor, and I'm just glad to see that he's in this here. So it's been great. I'll be kind of sad when Vidi dies, but just because of the actor,
No,
I
I'll
think
give
he
this.
brings the level.
I get a little satisfaction out of it. It's like he seems like this little condescending jerk. Like, what are you even doing? Like, it's like everyone's got skin in the game. What are you even bringing to the table? So, yeah, he's got no ambition.
Yeah, so we have how about his mom here, Frances? We find out she is suffering from dementia. The neighbor, right,
Hmm.
speaks Spanish, so maybe that's how Oz knows Spanish from the Batman.
I wonder if they put that in there just to like explain that part for the movie. But, uh,
It could also just be that because he knows Spanish, he's able to talk to him and he knew it before that as well. Like it
mhm.
doesn't have to be a connection like that, but I just thought that was interesting.
It was interesting. I felt really bad in this scene. You know, my grandmother had a stroke. She's recovering from a stroke. Thankfully, we don't have the dementia problem. And she's pretty sharp. But you know, when you're older and things aren't easy, and you get confused easily, I get a little sensitive to it now. It's hard to see, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally get that. Um Yeah. So and we end with Sophia is of course asking for his help to wipe out the Falcone family hierarchy so she can take control. I would assume Vidi's first, and then maybe I think they're definitely going to want to pull the trigger of revealing that Vidi is, having sex with Lady Falcone, right? Like I feel like that is something that would get them two going up against each other, which kind of lets Oz and Sophia take a back seat. Maybe not even know people don't even know that it's them that caused this to drop. So that way it creates more infighting and let Sophia rise up uh as like a better option, a
Hmm.
more stable option. As funny as that sounds, we're
As funny
talking
as it
about
sounds.
Sophia, right?
Yeah, she's not
But
stable.
like, hey, Vidi and he were like buds, and now that's undermined because of this betrayal. I can rise up and lead us back to our Falcone glory. I am the daughter of Carmine. I am the sister of Alberto. I will take this over. And I could see her like pleading that type of case.
Yeah, I can see that as well. And again, it goes to the smugness of Johnny Vitti. It goes to the smugness of he's stupid enough to sleep with a person that can really undermine his whole position in the Falcone family. It's not smart bedfellowing. I would
Right,
say
right.
bedfellowing. Uh, yeah, be careful who you bedfellow with, young young master. But no, I think Johnny Vitti seems to be an arrogant character. I don't know if I'm picking up on that because
Hmm.
I really hate arrogant people, uh, but almost narcissistic. But I don't think he's got
Right,
enough
right.
character time to actually give us that detail. Uh,
Yeah, so
Stay away from bathtubs, Johnny Vitti. Stay away from bathtubs.
yeah. I wonder if they'll kill him the same way.
That would be, dude. I would get so much enjoyment out of just seeing the camera slip away, the blood dripping down the bathtub. Like in black and
Yeah.
white. Like just go to black and white. You know.
So next week is called Bliss. Premiering on October 6th. What are you expecting here in this episode here? We had Victor kind of get like, hey, if you mess up again, you are dead. I don't know if he'll actually follow through with that, but I guess let's kind of go character by character here real quick. Victor, what's the ultimate goal for Victor this season? Does he end up like right hand man as we go into Batman Part 2, or do you see his untimely death by the end of the show?
Yeah, I could see it going either way. I do think you were right that Penguin sees a lot of him, and Penguin's a very vain man. So I wouldn't be shocked if he dies, but I'm not convinced that Penguin would be the one who kills him. I think Victor's goal is to stay alive by any costs, and I wonder how much of his life before he met Cobb, God, still annoying to me, before he met Oz is gonna drag him into trouble. Like I wonder if he wants to reconnect with that, kind of run away from this. So very interesting on that. But I think his goal is just stay alive. I don't. If it means being the right hand man, fine. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But he's pretty sold in. That man was picking cilantro off of tacos.
Yeah, he messed up the taco order. That
Yeah,
was a funny that
yeah,
was a funny bit there because
because
I guess Oz is one that would cilantro would taste
it's
like
like so.
soap.
He's
So he's
like,
like,
might as well stick a bar of soap in my mouth.
yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, I think what we'll see is kind of the corruption of Victor as we go. Um, he's gonna, maybe my theory is right. He has a girlfriend, but maybe he was having some good chemistry with the other lady at the party, right? So
Uh huh.
maybe he kind of starts getting in too deep with that and ends up being, you know, right hand man to Oz and just kind of falling into this role of the unfortunate.
I think he's kind of got widened eyes to it. Like he kind of wants it, but he's afraid to want it. And
Yeah,
you know I it's such a beautiful thing though in the first episode when they see all those hubcaps like just sitting there and Penguin's like, why didn't you just come here? Like just how like it seems like a moment of fate almost, and I think he's gonna buy into that.
yeah. No, I think that would be that was a really great line when it was all those hubcaps sitting there and you're like all the rims sitting there and you're like, well, you could have just got them here. You didn't have to take it off my Maserati, and that was kind of like that mistake of trying to take it off of Oz's car has led him down this path of where we are currently, right, with his characters. Um, everything he's done is from that bad mistake so far, getting roped into this, and it's either going to work out very well for him the way it has for Oz, or it's going to go sideways here.
Well, Oz is
Um,
enjoying it. I know that because it's it can't be easy to have that horrible pain on his foot and just having to do everything himself. I mean, can you imagine the pain tolerance that Penguin has though? It's got to be high as hell.
how do you drive with your foot like that?
I That's what I'm saying though. Like it's just might never matter. It really don't matter. Yeah,
You know,
I think with Bliss though, I think that it. I think you're going to start seeing Penguin and Sophia take a couple wins, before you get to the stuff that'll drive like the climax. I think they're going to win a little bit and maybe get a little cocky. And I can definitely see Oz getting a little cocky, racking up some wins.
well, that's what happens when Sophia finds out Oz is the one that killed Alberto. I think that is what's going to be kind of like the falling action of the show. And the last person he'll have to take out is probably Sophia.
Well, what if she never finds out though? He's basically kind of already gotten past that problem. It could work out for him because the only one that knows for sure now that's still in the picture is Victor, correct?
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, it's somehow gonna look. Sal knows.
Yeah, Sal does
All the
know.
Maronis know, right?
Penguin's really bad with a secret for a guy who needs them so badly.
Yeah, that's what it's like. Then how do you take out the Maronis once you take the Falcone's power,
I,
right? Like,
I kind of feel like he's just like they need to take each other out. I can't get
and then
one
I'll
without the other.
rise it.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so I think he's all about that friendly fire right now.
yeah. Um, that's true. It'll be.
I,
I really want to know how they're going to work this
but
out
I don't
in
think
the
he's a
show.
methodical person. I think he's a fly at the seat of his pants. I think he is, really the seat of his pants. I really don't think I think he's just really on the fly. He's really good on his feet.
Okay, and anything else about the episode as we get closer here?
Well,
Anything we forgot?
Penguin is definitely a mama's boy in this
Yes.
because
He was in Gotham as well.
yeah, he was. That's kind of true to his character, but he's like, yeah, we used to go out dancing and we dance all night. And she goes, with your mother? And when Sophia Falcone thinks um, you're weird. Um, but no, I get it. I actually get it as a guy living at home in his 30s. Maybe not to the extent of him, but I'm kind of a mama's boy. But yeah, he's a good kid though. He tries to be a good kid to her. Like he really cares about his mother, and it's actually one of the most empathizing components of his character because you see how cold and unhearted he is when he's killing that guy with a knife, and you see the juxtapose that with how he is with his mom, and it's really the thing that makes him human,
Yeah, it's like the one thing kind of tethering him right
not being a piece
to
of
what he's
shit,
doing and who he's doing it for, right?
even though he kind of is a piece of shit. But yeah,
Yeah, but he's a love like he is the guy we're rooting for. I feel like I am rooting for him to succeed. When he was trying to
yeah.
pin that thing on Vidi, and I'm like, please get out of this, dude. Like, get out of the.
There's a little Loki
They've done
energy
a
to
great
him.
job with it.
There's a little Loki energy into him, where it's this mischievous, like, cunning. You kind of root for him. You get caught up in the cleverness. There's a little Loki energy in this. As Loki
Yeah,
energy as you
yeah,
can have in a mob boss grounded story.
yeah. Like, and I keep seeing people say like, why can't they have Batman in this show? And I just still say right now, nothing has been done at the level that Batman would sweep in. Plus, we got the news that crime is up 40%, and there's an area called No Man's Land right now.
No Man's Land. Oh man. Yeah.
That's where Batman is.
Yeah, Batman's busy. Batman's got, and look, you're talking about talking about his whole address, his whole building, like kind of being nothing. Victor's building kind of being nothing now. Like Batman's got some things to do if he's really being the hero and embracing the hero part of his job. He should be a little preoccupied.
Yeah, Yeah, that's what I think. So, uh, look, and like I said, nothing has been done here so far that would cause Batman to intervene. Maybe the thing where the shipment went wrong, but he's probably in no man's land doing some stuff. That was a fun Easter egg type thing. Um, I don't know. I'm really enjoying the show. I'm really looking forward to next week. Next week we'll also be talking Superman and Lois season 4 premiere, the final season. So next week is a big week for DC on television.
Yeah, Superman and Lois, the Penguin. Yeah, it's pretty big. One other thing I do want to say about the Severe Falcone stuff is at the
Yeah.
funeral you saw all the protesters of the Falcones, and
Yes.
and they have this nice cushy house.
Falcons equal fascists
Yeah,
is what it says.
first off, you have this crime family that basically has all this power. It's couldn't be close to home if it tried, right? Yeah, but seriously, Jesus Christ, it's got me wondering what do the Falcons have to do to be in trouble with the law? Like they have that much power, but like everyone knows. Like it feels like it's this dirty little secret that everybody knows. Very curious about that.
Well, we have her paying off a corrupt cop, right?
Hmm.
That is a drophead. Drophead, like I think it's funny that they create drops, but it does seem a little silly when they're like just putting in like eye drops and they're like getting high as soon as it touches their eye.
Yeah, the guy's
He's
like,
like, oh yeah. He was
yeah.
like, oh yeah, that's the stuff.
I thought it was really good though because she's like, you want to know now, don't you? You can know now.
Yeah,
It's like so like obviously the drops don't make him useless if you can do it now. You know,
right,
I,
right.
but yeah, it is a weird drug. It's just like, oh, you want to do the drops now? Okay.
I like how creative it is though, and not just like somebody snorting something or
Yeah,
shooting up something.
it's not
Like
like heroin.
yeah, I like that it is like a something different and creative, like eye drops. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, with drops like with cocaine, you had crack. What is the new thing that's going to revolutionize the drug business in this when you have drops? Is going to be cuts. Um,
Yeah, what's the new drug?
yeah,
Right? What's the new drug?
it's again,
Nasal spray.
yeah. Is it going to be Flow Nasty?
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll wrap it up here. So like I said, next week, 2 episodes hitting your feed. Superman and Lois. If you're watching that show, make sure you're following us with that.
And if you're not
And then
watching
of
that
course
show, come
Penguin
on.
episode 3.
Yeah,
Right, right. If you're not watching, catch up on the first 3 seasons and get ready to watch. People have been raving about critics that have seen it have been raving about the first few episodes of season 4. So I'm really looking forward to what we got in store over on that.
I think my heart is going to take a beating with that show, but I think it's going to be rewarded at the end.
Let's hope. Let's hope.
Yeah, it's. I'm telling you, if they stick the landing, it is the best Superman project we've ever got. If it sticks the
Probably.
landing, I know it probably won't have the cultural significance of Smallville because it's only 4 seasons, but they stick the landing. That's 4 perfect seasons, nearly perfect
Yeah.
seasons.
It'll be interesting seeing what happens. So looking forward to that. You can follow us at elseworldsdcfan on all of our social medias or send us an email, elseworldsdcfan@gmail.com. Um, I'm trying to finish reading this book here, Sex Lives of Superheroes. My
Yeah,
copy came in today by Deanna McCallum. The goal is to get her on the show, but I got a review copy. I'm in the middle of reading it and hoping to maybe put a little video or something together with a review, and then hopefully trying to get an interview with her. So make sure,
I didn't get a
um,
review. I didn't get that review copy, but
yeah,
yeah,
it's cool.
cool.
All right. Well, we will see you all next time when we talk Penguin episode 3 and Superman and Lois season 4 episode 1.